morning student, welcome to Ganjali online classes. Class 8 English. My canvas book, it's 12 number chapter, global warming. It's a very good environmental subject, and it is very important subject for today's world as we are facing. I would like to suggest to all of you to listen carefully to save our mother earth. It's okay? So, this global means and the world is full of war. Global means total war. War means it. War means gun. पूरी दुनिया gun. Okay? Let's see, global warming is the single biggest threat to life on Earth today. Single biggest threat. It's the only one. Threat is the coming danger of this world. Because of this global warming, Earth is in bad condition. The term is used to describe unnatural rise in Earth's average temperature. Do you know our body temperature is in Celsius 36 degrees Celsius, and climate if also Earth warm is 36 means normal, but if grows more heat or grows more warm, so what are the effects? What are the demerits? What are its losses? We shall discuss in the chapter. And naturally warm and unnaturally warm, the different thing. Unnatural rise of the heat that cause vitamin D. So today we shall briefly discuss about this point, very important chapter. It is related to science and environment, and that will help you to study, and that will suggest you to aware of this subject. Okay. While some believe the effects of global warming to be more substantial than others, effects of global warming, yes, effects means how this global warming is effects to this earth and people and to our nature, and discuss here warming to be more substantial than substantial means of considerable size than others. Scientists agree that the average temperature of Earth has risen between 0.4 degrees Celsius to 0.8 degrees Celsius already. Means 0.4 degree increase over the past 100 years. Means in 100 years the world is increased. So listen how it is dangerous for us. The increased volume of carbon dioxide. Yes, what increase? Carbon dioxide, CO2. Okay? And other greenhouse gases. Yes, greenhouse gases mean the gases which create the earth total warm. That makes the earth warm, that gases. In earth atmosphere, due to burning of fossil fuels, that is like petroleum products, fossil fuels, land clearing, land means trees are cutting down, greenhouse and agriculture. Agriculture means the place where there was a forest is cut down, and instead of human being have made that plant is agriculture, and that is also cause of global warming. In our atmosphere, due to burning of gas and other human activity is believed to be the primary source of the global warming. Is a primary source. I have told you 3 points. One is fossil fuels and land clearing and agriculture. These are the primary sources. Primary the main sources. प्राथमिक और इम्पोर्टेंट सोर्सेस, यहीं से ही धरती का जो टेम्परेचर है दिन को दिन गर्मी होते जा रहा है. This okay? Or the global warming, and that has occurred in the past 50 years. Yeah, in 100 years from 4 degrees Celsius to 0.4 degrees Celsius to 0.8 degree, around about 50 years with all these things. Our earth is in dangerous condition. Yes, scientists have also predicted that average global temperature could rise between 1.4 degree Celsius in which Celsius by the year 21st century. This 21st century, from we are now in this condition, imagine that it is so much warm, that what will happen, all its impact, all its effects, all its results, let's discuss here. Changes resulting from global warming may include what are the problems? Sea rising. Water level of sea will be rise, okay? Rising sea levels due to the melting of the ice, polar ice caps. You know in the North Pole and South Pole they have the polar ice और pool area यहाँ बर्फ से ढका हुआ है, गर्मी से पिघल के पानी समुद्र में is going towards the sea and sea water level is increasing. Sea water is increasing, sea level is increasing, as well as increasing in occurrence and severity effect of storm and other severe weather calamities. Yes, storm and weather calamity. You know calamity means the natural loss. Prakutik apdaye, that is in Hindi. That means destruction and loss of the things of the earth. So, let us discuss increased carbon dioxide is the primary driver of the global warming. I told you carbon dioxide, the primary driver is rider or cause of this global warming. Means CO2. You have to understand. So now discuss as includes about carbon dioxide. Let's discuss about it. Carbon dioxide absorbs heat reflected from Earth's surface. Suppose sun ray and it reflects, and carbon dioxide what captures? उस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ऑब्जर्व्स उसको खींच लेता है, जो सूरज की गर्मी धरती में रिफ्लेक्ट होकर जाना था, लेकिन वो जाने से पहले ही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ने उसको पकड़ लिया, ऑब्जर्व मतलब कैच कर लिया. Yes, Earth surface heat that would otherwise pass freely into space. अगर नहीं कैच करता कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड तो आसमान में चला जाता, but that caught by carbon dioxide. Then what is the reactions? The CO2 then releases that heat. उस गर्मी से जो गर्मी धरती में रह गया. Let's see. Warming the earth atmosphere. ये जो गर्मी को पकड़ लिया वो आगे atmosphere is our atmosphere of the atmosphere धरती पर जो लगा हुआ है atmosphere उसको क्या करता है? Making more heat. This quality of CO2 also makes Earth habitable for all life forms. You know, हमको जितना जरूरत है, जितना हमको शरीर में गर्मी चाहिए, as we know that much of heat and atmospheric heat good for health. Yes, we need carbon dioxide, but the quantity what we require, yeah, then life is possible. Agar if there is no carbon dioxide also, Earth will be cool and we may die. So we need carbon dioxide, but in some level, some balance. But here, however, as CO2 level rise, उसका जो मात्रा है बढ़ जाता है. Rise means more than that. Beyond normal, the pace of warming also accelerates means move quickly. Yeah, इसका warming भी और आगे बढ़ जाता है. Yes, the pace of warming also accelerates means गर्मी भी और आगे को बढ़ जाता है. Presence of CO2 in Earth's atmosphere is almost entirely the result of human activity. Human activity means this is the gift of human being. इंसान की हरकत से, as human being have done this type of work, what are the works of human being are discussed, and because of that we are facing lots of global warming. Now we shall discuss in this chapter. Now see, when humans burn coal, oil and gas, means fossil fuels, what are the things human burn? Coal, oil and gas. These are things human beings born, and because of that, why do these human beings do? To get electricity. From coal you get electricity, from oil also get electricity, petrol gas also get electricity. For electricity, for one hand we need, but on the other hand, causing of the global warming. Let's see, एक तरफ से करंट चाहिए तो दूसरी तरफ हम नहीं सोच रहे हैं. Let's see, to generate electricity or drive vehicles, गाड़ी चलाने के लिए भी सब चाहिए, either coal or oil, petrol or gas etc. to drive vehicles. Carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere. उसी से क्या हो रहा है? Carbon dioxide आके हमारा पर्यावरण में atmosphere, it is going towards our atmosphere. Then what happens? Where it traps heat. Traps heat means a carbon dioxide जो है उसको पकड़ लेता है. Traps means holds, जकड़ लेता. Let's see, a carbon molecule that comes from fossil fuels. Fossil fuels जो जला गया, उस carbon molecule जो है, molecule means जिसको हमने देखा है. Let's see. And deforestation is lighter than those from other sources. Yes, deforestation is lighter than other sources. इसमें हल्का है, no more deforestation. Very good. As scientists measure the weight of carbon in the atmosphere over time, they see a clear increase in the lighter molecules from fossil fuels and deforestation sources. How we get these carbon molecules? I have two causes. One is fossil fuel, means this from oil, carbon molecule in the air, and second one by deforestation, cutting down of tree, that means more carbon dioxide. And these are the sources we get more carbon dioxide. Scientific data reveals that CO2 level have steadily increased every year. हर साल बढ़ रहा है. Level is growing. Now we have 2020. Now we have the rate of carbon dioxide. We don't know. Then in the next year 2021 it will be more than that. The levels are higher today than at any point in the history of humankind. Yes. India with the carbon dioxide now latest news. We have more carbon dioxide than then. Let's see. The Earth climate has changed in the past. Yes, हमारा जो परिवेश बदल चुका है. And natural causes too. प्राकृतिक कारण से भी गर्मी बढ़ रहा है. What are they? Volcanic activity, volcano फटने से, changes in sun's intensity means strength, सूरज का बढ़ना घटना, fluctuations in Earth's sun orbit. Fluctuation is irregular rising and falling of Earth's orbit, मतलब ऊपर नीचे होना, and other natural factors. There are some natural factors cause of global warming have increased temperatures in the past. However, none of these can account for the current rise in global temperature. वो जो कुदरती से गर्मी जो बढ़ा है, there is no more sense. Yes, and today as is the global warming increase more than that. Yes, however, none of these means all this I told you. What? Volcanoes. Then sun's intensity, fluctuation in Earth's orbit, these are the things. Yeah, none of these can account for the current rising global temperature. The menace means harm of global warming that the world faces today is entirely man-made. Yes, man-made global warming. Yes, one natural and that is man-made. What are the man-made? Let's see. Humanity needs to collectively reduce. Humanity means all human beings. Needs to collectively means all together. Reduce its carbon blueprints. What is carbon blueprints? Do you know one we are print? But carbon blueprint is what we act. Then we have the print. By our all activity we have the carbon blueprints. It's okay. You have to know that what are the causes of carbon footprints that discuss. So if you extra use of electricity, just the question mark, you switch off all electricity appliances and gadgets when not in use. जैसे घर में कुछ काम नहीं है कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कितना बचत करते हो नहीं करते हो तो ये more carbon blueprints. or footprints. Yes. Then your energy effluent applications, how much you more use, more footprints. And the cook when you eat and not waste food. Yes. How much carbon footprints. Do you use the carbon public transport or walk? If you less walk, more carbon footprints. Have you planted tree? No planted tree, more these footprints of carbon. Means we can collect more footprints. बहुत सारा कार्बन को हम छोड़ रहे हैं. अगर हम ये सब नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो कार्बन फुटप्रिंट्स को हम कम कर सकते हैं. Okay, let's see. So reduce carbon footprints if we want to tackle this ever increasing threat of global warming. Okay, now global warming is already creating significant impact. इसका प्रभाव फल रिजल्ट क्या है? Let's see. And these consequences will only intensify. Intensify means more intense as the planet's temperature continues to rise. Now, what are the results of this global warming? Let's discuss. By more global warming, first point is rising sea levels. This first point means global warming increases the rate of sea rise in the sea levels and has led to dramatic increase in coastal flooding risks. Means coastal area zero समुद्र and sea area. तो ये जो समुद्र किनारे जो रहते हैं जैसे harmful for them, उनके लिए क्या है नुकसानी है. पानी ज़्यादा भर के मतलब खतरा उनके निशानी है. Let's see. Many small islands like the Maldives face a risk of getting submerged in the near future. Some of inside the sea. Small islands like Maldives, they are in danger. Damaging wildfires. You know, it's last year. Because of this global warming, around 50 crores of animals died. Because of global warming, the wildfire. And many people things have been destroyed because of this global warming, and that was the cause of this global warming. Okay, so wildfires, around continental fires in wildland areas. Wildfire season is getting longer and temperature soars immediately rising. This is a trap for animals in the world, wild and for the ecosystem in general. We recently in the last year in Australia. Let's see. Another instance is instance heat is periods of dangerously heat weather is occurring more frequently than it did in the past. गर्मी दिन ब दिन बढ़ रहा है. Globally, extremely warm nights that used to come once in 20 years now occur every 10 years. तो 20 साल में जितना एक साल कभी कभार गर्मी होता था, अभी तो हमेशा हो रहा है. The 12 warm years a record have occurred since 1998. रात में गर्मी और बढ़ रहा है. 1998 was very highest. Extreme heat events are responsible for more deaths. Yes, इस गर्म से जो मर रहे हैं एनुअली साल में जितना मरते हैं. देन हरिकेन, जो हरिकेन मतलब टॉर्नाडो साइक्लोन है, लाइटनिंग, थंडरिंग और टॉर्नाडो, floods and earthquakes combined together, the people will die at once. More than that is by the heat waves. Just like natural calamity में जितना नहीं मरेंगे, more than in this intense heat wave, more people die than that. Is okay? Now go to natural calamity. Natural calamity. प्राकृतिक आपदाएं. Let's see. For most places, global warming will result in more frequent hot days and fewer cool days. 365 में से 200-300 दिन तो ऐसे गर्मी रहेगा एक दो महीना से ठंडी है. Imagine that how much your global warming increased with the rate is warming occurring over land. You can be now in the month of July, but you cannot feel cold. You feel more warm because why? Global warming. Storms, floods, droughts have become more severe as rain patterns change. Yes, बारिश की जो सही ढंग से हमारा नहीं हो रहा है, इससे क्या हो रहा है, कहीं पर बहुत बाढ़ हो जा रहा है, कहीं पर तूफान आ जा रहा है, तो कहीं पर अकाल मतलब सूखा हो जा रहा है. ड्राउट्स बिकॉज नो गुड रेन. इधर ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, कहीं पर बारिश होना चाहिए नहीं हो रहा है, कभी हो रहा है इतना बारिश हो रहा है कि पूरा बाढ़ आ जा रहा है. Why? This imbalance of nature, and because of that natural calamity and destruction only. And what is the main cause? Global warming. And who is responsible? Human being. And for what? Own facility, own selfishness, for more torture this environment. Okay. Hurricanes have increased in intensity due to warmer ocean surface temperature. Hurricane इसलिए हो रहा है कि पानी समुद्र का पानी गर्म होने से hurricane creates and destruction. Why are these things? Because of human activity to destroy the nature, to create lots of global warming to this world. Okay. Global warming is already putting immense very great pressure on ecosystems. Ecosystem is natural balance that is falling down. Warmer temperatures have already shifted the growing season of plants in many parts of the world. Yes, shifted the growing season of plants. प्लांट का जो बढ़ने का जो सीजन है उसको भी क्या कर चुका है, बिगाड़ चुका है. This change in the growing season affects the broader ecosystem. Yes, the change in the growing season, जो प्लांटेशन का बढ़ने का जो सीजन है पूरा पर्यावरण को भी क्या किया है, बिगाड़ा हुआ है. Affects the broader ecosystem. What type of these changes? Migrating animals had to start seeking food sources earlier. You know, migratory birds, they used to come in a specific season. But the global warming scenario is something different. The climate was changed. The birds also they do not come in regular time. Their system of time also changed. Yes, and what is the main cause? Global warming. Let's see. The shift in seasons may already be causing the life cycles of pollinators. Shift in season means season भी change हो रहा है. कैसे? May already be causing the life cycles of the pollinators. Pollinator means the plant has to pollinate to give new seed. Okay, like bees to be out of sync. Out of sync means out of nature or out of moving at the same pace as another. एक साथ नहीं जाता है. What? With flowering plant and trees. Yes, जो बीज and plant किसी एक साथ होना चाहिए, that is not going at the same time. Why? This mismatch. Seeing this mismatch can limit the ability of both pollinators and plants to survive and reproduce. Yes, mismatch. मतलब मैच नहीं होने से plant भी नहीं होगा. Can limit the ability of both pollinators and plant to survive and reproduce. Plant किसे फसल नहीं दे सकता है. That's why less production because of global warming. So directly, indirectly, we have to suffer of food, etc. Reducing food availability throughout the food chain. Yes, is mismatch, no crops, and because of that, crop mix, we will be famine and hungry. Okay, these all natural changes in the life cycle of animals may make many animals go extinct in the future. Unnatural changes, not unnatural changes means human-made global warming. Okay, बहुत सारे जानवरों को भी जान गंवाना पड़ेगा. Let's see how extinct no more than enough. Okay, endangered species face such risk more because of their dwindling numbers. Dwindling means decreasing numbers because of global warming. The animals, the species also day by day falling down. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change estimates that 20 to 30% of the plant and animal species will be at risk of extinction if temperature climb more than 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2.5 degrees Celsius in the future. Once again, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change estimate, yes, उनका जो गणना है, the counting, 20 to 30% of plant animal species will be at risk. 20 से 30% जानवर और पेड़ पौधे खतरे में हैं, they are in danger, yeah, they will die forever if temperature climb more than 1.5 to 2.5, so 0.4 to 0.8 है, तो 1.5 to 2.5, it increases 20 to 30% of animal plants are growing. Now we are middle of, and it is only 7 points increases. Imagine how we are the cause of the destruction of animals and plants. It's okay. The changes to climate, weather and ecosystems will affect people living in low-lying coastal area the most. I already told you this climate change in the low-lying area of the earth is very risky. जो समुद्र किनारे में जो रहते हैं उनके लिए खतरा है. कैसे? The changes to weather and ecosystem will affect people living in low-lying coastal areas the most. People in poorer countries like Africa, like India, okay, who do not have the resources to adapt to changes in temperature. No resources to adapt the changes in temperature will be hit hard. क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Country who do not have the resources, उनके पास रिसोर्स की कमी है. Poor countries, yeah, those who are in this area, they have to suffer a lot to adapt to changes. Changes में मतलब आपको ढलना है. Yes, in temperature will also be hit hard. उनका सेहत बहुत बिगड़ जाएगा. Equatorial regions like African country, yeah, 0 degree, that equator, okay, regions will probably become uninhabitable means that will be there no human being because of so much warmth. The tropics like India will also become too hot for living. Now this we are talking of cancer. So in these people also, you can imagine that now in the month of July it will be too much hot. More red and we are feeling something odd that more should be cool. Why this is happening? Because of global warming. Let's see. So with constant threat of floods, because of that, what happens? Floods, imagine like in India, Mumbai and Assam and Bihar, etc. So always floods and floods. Why this is? Global warming. Threat of floods, looming large means appearing large. You can recently know that in China also sufficient floods and everywhere. Let's see. People will have to shift to colder area. जान बचाने के लिए we go to cold country, cold area, as more hot, more heat, more hot. Okay, let's see. With soaring global population, one way soaring is rising. Total world's population एक तरह का आबादी बढ़ रहा है. Decreasing livable area, जीने का जो जगह है कम हो जा रहा है. इंसान बढ़ रहा है, जमीन घट जा रहा है, जमीन कम हो रहा है, पॉपुलेशन ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Definitely suffering will be a huge problem in the future. Now India population more than 1,135 crores. And imagine the world's second number largest populated country, biggest. So imagine that we have the scarcity of food, scarcity of land, scarcity of everything, scarcity of job, etc. So how we are facing a lot. Let's see. The future does look pretty bleak with desolate, lacking of life. That dark. If current trends of global warming persist, if today's condition, it continues, global warming continues again and again, then it will be very severe. However, there is still time to save our planet. We have to see optimistic view of the earth. We should hope our earth. It's the only one our mother we are doing. We think about our mother. आपके मम्मी का सेहत अच्छा नहीं तो कैसा लगता है? Think that earth is our mother and how imagine we are living in this mother earth. Okay, let's see. Still time, the writer says, it is still time to save our planet. There is nothing we can do about the greenhouse gases already released into the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases already अभी आ चुका है अर्थ में, इसका हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं, जो गर्मी हो चुका है. But we can curve, see where the curve is check. Future emissions, emission articles like all these our things. But we can curve future emissions and save the future generations from the dangerous realities of global warming. Now, already greenhouse gases is in the earth and we cannot change that. But now, future generation, when they will come, we have to check now. Otherwise, they will suffer a lot in this global warming. Their life will be bleak, their life will be dark, their life will be sweaty. They will cannot live perfectly. They will suffer a lot. Today, this is the time to check now. We must scientifically reduce the heat trapping emissions. Do you know science is more advanced? The heat emitting articles have to less use. Means we have to less use of electricity, less use of our vehicles, less use of these things, and which products gives more heat. We have to check more. Think about our future generation. Let's say we must significantly reduce the heat trapping emissions we are putting into the atmosphere. We have to think. Otherwise, we will suffer a lot. As human individuals, we can help by reducing personal carbon emissions. Reducing, but everybody will think. How much bulbs, how much electricity, how much vehicles, how much things we less use. Then we will less release this carbon to this atmosphere. If less we use, life will be more secure and very safety and well. Otherwise, as we suffer, every one of us will suffer. Age coming and because we see lots of problem in this world. Yes, so I like to important. Global leaders must come together. Leaders with politicians. They have to think about this earth. They have to think about to save this mother earth. Global leaders must come together and collectively form. Collective is totally together all. Okay, form a consciousness on reducing national emissions. Personal emission, national emission. Now it reduce and less use. Reducing tropical deforestation. Yes, reducing tropical deforestation can significantly lower global warming emissions if you less cut down the trees. Because you are more cutting down the trees, more carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere, and more carbon dioxide means more suffering. And have to more care about the plantation and less use of our all the electronic items or other things. Then we hope that maybe bright future it will play an integral role, means essential role or important role in a long-term solution to global warming. Long-term means next generation, next future. So people when they come, then they feel comfort to survive. The last paragraph, certain consequences, results. Certain results of global warming are now inevitable. Yes, and unavoidable events. Yes, certain consequences of global warming are not unavoidable event. Okay, while we work to reduce global warming emissions, we must also prepare for this dangerous new reality. Prepare for this dangerous new reality. We have to reduce, then we have to face it, and we hope the bright future. This is the right time. The book is not only for the textbook, but book is given to every one of the student to come forward to think once again this is not a work. It's not a work of one person. Totally, global is total. Collectively, if everybody think, then we have a bright future. We can face the earth well, and we can create the earth a very beautiful dwelling place to live. I hope you this lesson, as I discussed and elaborated, may help you in study as well as this life career. So meet you once again in the next period. Till that time, have a good day and bye.